that we should put these issues to bed this meeting.
Yep.
A vote is needed to make that happen. I have received an abundance of emails supporting that action. Thank you.
You bet. And actually, I'll tell. I thought we'd have an agenda item on policy 903. So we consider it added now. Policy 903 and policy 006. Right?
Right.
Okay. Good. All right. Can I ask you to keep track of them and and bring them to us at the proper time?
The reason why I listed them as G1A and G1B is because G1A on the agenda is a discussion of revision of policy 903. So that has to do with policy. I figured it was a good place to put it.
You know, I do believe
I don't have looking here as a piece looking at something.
Okay. Yeah, we'll absolutely. So G1A will be
A motion to approve
the
the
public.
second
Okay.
comment period with and eliminating the 45-minute time limit. And G1B would be a motion to amend the policy manual to allow approved attachments to be made available to the public prior to board meetings.
Do we have a copy of the addenda, the revised addenda, the addendum to the agenda?
The supplemental?
Yeah.
I have mine on my screen.
We all have
Brandy,
one
do we
printed.
have supplemental copies? Oh, we do have supplemental copies. Dottie, you need one?
Yes, I do. Thanks. A couple of us need them. Illustration.
No. G1A and G1B. Oh, he's out. Yeah, he's adding it. Yeah. And-
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I know it was probably by accident, but the attachments for this meeting are all online now, even though the board hasn't voted to approve that.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying G1A and
G1B.
they're online now?
Pardon?
They're online now?
No, I'm saying all attachments are online now.
Okay, all right, thank you, all right. So, Mr. Snell makes note of that, and the reason he makes note of that before the prior presentation and the public comment is so that the public knows those items are on the agenda. Of course, the first public comment period is wide open. Any topics, any issues related to Montoursville Area School District is fair game, if you will, open for comment. So formally, though, we will be adding those to the agenda items as we go through them later this evening. So with that, let's move to the prior presentation. And we have tonight for prior presentations, we have Brenda Oberheim, Yvonne Fagnano, Scott Metzger, and then Pastor Larry Leland. So Brenda, if you would come forward, please. And the microphone should be live. That's the one mic that will work and the one mic that won't cause feedback. Okay, if there's no others, then the board will continue on with our agenda. And at this time, we have the business manager's report.
Received copies of treasurer's reports for the period ending February 28, 2021
We have a motion far down the right, a motion, a second over here on the left. All in favor, say aye. Or discussion, pardon me? Pardon me? I'm sorry. Discussion? Questions? Okay. Jen, was that you for the second?
No, it was Dottie.
No, Jen.
Oh, it was Jen? Sorry, Jen.
Jen wants it. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Budgetary transfers are just for board awareness, no action is needed on those this evening. We've received copies of the listing of invoices for the general fund and cafeteria fund for the period ending March 9, 2021. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval and payment.
Questions?
Yes. First question I have is on check number 60409 to Leather Lumber. For two commercial doors that were installed at the stadium, where they tore out the old doors and installed two new doors. This check's for $11,670 for two doors. Now, I realize a commercial door is more expensive than a door for your home. My question is, was this submitted to different companies to get prices, or did we just go with them and pay the price?
We have checked the companies before, they usually give us the best price. That is a all metal, aluminum frame, aluminum door, and an FRP fiberglass reinforced because students would destroy it out there. It's the whole frame and everything.
And I realize that, I have fiberglass doors in my house, and I realize that an industrial fiberglass door is a little bit heavier than the one I have, and I don't have aluminum frames, but I just thought that $11,670 for two doors is a little bit excessive. The other thing I have is check number 60488, NRG Controls. Are we now putting key card readers on inside doors? And why?
Now, they're on outside doors in the hall.
I'm reading one wood shop door.
There are two outside doors, one in the metal shop, one in the wood shop. There's one on the south side of the hallway, the wood shop hallway.
Stairways.
And yep, and there's one to be stairway through. That's outside door. That's where the kids are dropped off in the morning there.
Are these replacements?
Now, they're new partners. They were going to be part of a safety security grant that we got a while ago, so that's why we're putting them on.
Okay, it's part of the grant.
Some of that is, yep. Some of it's already been budgeted for me, and some of it's out of safety security grant.
Right.
And as we know, the safety grants are still taxpayer money.
Yep.
And for these 1, 2, 3, 4 doors, just to let everybody know, it's $21,000, over $21,000 for 4 doors, just to put the card readers, correct? Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions? Randy, could have a roll call vote on that?
Dr. Beery? Yes. Mr. Kunkel? Mrs. Marriott? Yes. Dr. Mathers? Yes. Mr. Ruffing?
Yes.
Mr. Schimmel?
Yes?
Mr. Snell?
Yes.
Mr. Ulmer?
Yes.
Do you have anything on item D for us?
At the March work session, I'll provide a review of the current expenditures and expenditure projections for the 21-22 budget. If you have any questions you're thinking about, go ahead and email those to me. I'll try to incorporate them into the presentation like we did with the audit. I already received some great questions from one board member, and I plan on putting those into the presentation. In April, we will be looking at the updates and making changes. In May, we will approve a proposed budget and make changes. And
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
First, I would like to say thank you to Zach Smith for being a part of the 39 Steps. If you did not get to see that production, live or online, it was wonderful. It was a radio play, and the students did an amazing job, so hats off to you. You did really enjoyed it. Thank you. I would also like to share.
Since you're going to be speaking all quite a bit here, could you use the microphone? Would it be possible?
I'm not going to speak quite a bit. I can speak louder.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
Okay. As you know, the districts have been allotted certain vaccine amounts for school districts. Our school district was originally allotted for this section of vaccines, which is the first time that we are allowed to have vaccines provided to staff, 101 vaccines. We have since picked up 12 vaccines that were going to be distributed to others, and they have also been provided to us. Those vaccines will be provided, we do believe, by this weekend. We hope that it is by this weekend. Employees did have to sign up. It was not a requirement that they got this vaccine. They could choose any vaccine that they wanted to, but in this distribution, it was just the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And that is concluding my report.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the agenda items. And Superintendent, do you want me to go through them since I'm a little more volume? No, you good?
I'm good.
All right, okay. With the agenda items now, Mr. Snow mentioned earlier that we'd like a G1A for policy 903 on a second comment period and eliminate the 45 minutes. And then G1B to approve the addition of agenda attachments as appropriate to the agenda that's posted on the website. So I guess with that, let's yeah, prior to the board meeting, correct.
And I did share with Mr. Snell that I did do that this time. I thought it was the intention of the board to already have that in place. So therefore, we did share the attachments with the public prior to the board meeting. Let's, if you don't mind, Mr. Snell, can we do G1A and G1B separately and do G1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a consent? Does anyone have any issues if we do consent?
Okay, all right.
May I please have a motion on G1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
G1A, to amend policy to restate a public comments section, a second public comments section, and eliminate the use of the language of 45-minute limitation on public comments.
Move to approve. I just have one comment on this. I want to bring to everybody's attention that on the district website, the meeting minutes go back to 2014. That's all the further they go back. As of from 2014 to December 2020, the Montoursville School Board allowed 2 public comment periods. And then somebody found out that it wasn't in the policy, so we stopped having it because it wasn't policy. This vote here puts it in policy. And I think it's a policy that needs to be put in place so the public can speak and we can make sure we hear from all our constituents. That's all.
Okay. Now, everybody has policy 903 in front of them, and I'd ask you to take a look at it, please. Everybody has 903? Pardon me? Yes, yes.
It's so muffled. You're clear.
So a little backstory for the public here. There used to be a policy committee that would write policies together. And in a fairly recent board meeting, that committee was disbanded, and it became a committee of the whole, that the whole board would discuss policy. So after the third email from the public about reinstating the second public comment period, I drafted my best first draft of adding the second public comment period back in. Because it's like a legal document, so there has to be very specific language and wording. So I guess I made 50 copies. So I don't know if you want to start with, like, how does it go from what we say to like literally the exact specific language we're going to use?
Sue, I think what we'll do is we just remove the one paragraph that speaks about the 45 minutes because it is a paragraph. So the recommendation would be to eliminate that.
Like, do we need clear language about
Yeah,
adding a second?
yeah, Sue, and actually what I was going to say is, we know that the paragraph, it would be the last paragraph
Right.
on what was printed out and handed out tonight.
Right.
It's the paragraph with the 45-minute, et cetera, et cetera. Just to make things clean, we delete that whole paragraph. It takes all restrictions out on time, except for the 3-minute. But it takes all the 15 minutes. You got to vote to add this. Takes that all out. There is no.
And then
there is,
every agenda would have the second public comment. I mean, that
Then-
would be
then-
incorporated in with that.
Then you have, after that, you have one sentence says the public comment period shall appear on the agenda items before action items. We could just call that the initial
Right.
or first
First,
public,
yeah, that's
and
fine.
just a single sentence, the first public comment period shall appear, blah, blah, blah. And then another sentence, the second public comment period shall appear prior to meeting adjournment.
Yep.
And then, there it is, it's done. I mean, I don't know that we have to make it any more verbose. Now, we do have a paragraph on page, it would be at the top of page 2. I would suggest, let's just get rid of that. It doesn't say
About
any.
the comment period first and the next regular meeting.
It also does is clutters things up. It makes it more confusing. We'll know if there's not sufficient time. We will know that we have to eliminate some things from the agenda in order to get the second public comment period in. We know we'll have to streamline committee reports, superintendent's report. Some things will have to be shrunk down in order to preserve the comment period. So I'm proposing that. I know the chair's.
Okay, and
The chair's not necessarily supposed to, but I'm suggesting this just to make it clean and simple tonight so we can have it in place. So when the end of the meeting comes, we have that second period available. Because right now, the second period by policy doesn't exist. So we're adding that effectively now. So board, did you, go ahead.
There is one other part that concerns that in the policy where no participant may speak more than once on the same topic. If the person speaks in the first public comment period and something happens during the meeting about that subject that he spoke, he should be able to speak, he or she should be able to speak at the end of the board meeting.
Yes, so we can add in each comment period. How would that
Well,
be?
you can just take that completely out. Where it says no participant may speak more than once
Yeah.
on the same topic.
Yeah.
Take it out.
Yeah. All right.
okay, so you're making those notes and crossing those
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So we need to vote.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, any board members, anything else in the way of cleaning this up? All right, if not, then I'll call for a vote then. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. So there will be a second comment period tonight prior to adjournment.
Under G1B, amend the policy to include attachments prior to the public meeting.
Christina, did you say approve attachments
To include,
to include and approve attachments?
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Board, I guess just to try to keep us focused on how to clean this up. If you look at policy 0600 or 06 on, got to make sure I have the same documents in both places. The second paragraph under agenda. Hang on. Page 3 of 8. Yeah, page 3 out of 8. At least that's where mine is. Okay. There's a sentence there at the bottom, and we've talked about how this has history. It's a little nebulous. Not really sure of it. I don't know if that sentence has any value. It doesn't help anybody.
Right.
We talked about just getting rid of it. It's fuzzy. So, board okay with just eliminating that to clean this up? And then on page 7 of 8, under work sessions, let's see, my guess, the boards have been violating this policy for how many years now, because we haven't met in the high school library since the building was renovated. So regularly scheduled work sessions of the board shall be held at specified places, and leave a go at that, because it says in the high school library. Obviously, we don't meet there. So you okay with language of at specified places, because the secretary always publishes the location for these meetings anyway. Does that work for you? One other item I had. Actually, going back to page 3 of 8 on the first paragraph after agenda, item 1 there. Last sentence, it says, an agenda not containing attachments. We need to strike out the word not. Well, it says, at the same time, the agenda is provided the each director, an agenda not containing the attachments shall be posted. And we need to strike out the word not, because we are posting that agenda with the appropriate attachments.
And add approved in front of attachment.
Pardon me?
Add the word approved in front of attachment.
All right. So an agenda containing the approved attachments. And for the public's sake, there are some attachments we can't present to you before we vote on it. We just simply can't. Some things are personnel items that are confidential. It's just, you can't see them. There's a few things, but not much. The lion's share of it, it's fair game to be putting out there before the meeting. So I thought I had one more item. Yes?
I'm not sure about the word approved, because we're showing attachments that the board is using to deliberate on agenda items.
Well, Ron, you meant acceptable.
So we actually take action
Yeah.
on that agenda. So those attachments want to be visible to the public, but they're not approved until we take action on the agenda.
Ron, did you mean approved in the sense of voted on? You meant approved and acceptable.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Approved as in acceptable. There's no attachments that have personnel or students and so on.
Okay.
I think there's
I agree with Dale. It shouldn't be the same word, like
Yeah.
acceptable or.
Appropriate.
Appropriate?
Appropriate.
That sounds good.
All right. Okay. I will say I would have asked Sue to reconstitute her 3 members, have a meeting, and do this, because that's their work. But we knew we wanted to get this done tonight and move on because we knew it was a necessary and right thing to do. So that's why the committee really isn't dealing with this. The committee as a whole is dealing with this tonight.
Did we have a motion and a
Have
second?
another public meeting anyway.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Did we have a
Okay.
motion and a second?
All right, is there any,
Okay, all right. I just
All
didn't
right.
have that written down.
so we've all edited it. We understand what we're voting for. We all good? All right, in that case, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Under personnel, may I please have consent for P1, P2, P3? No, we already did them in consent.
I thought it was only 3.
No, it was through P5. No, we did through P5. He has a different one. Secretary, what did we motion on with the Gs?
G1, 2, and 3 was consent, and then I had G1A, G1B.
I had G1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That was my understanding too.
So 1 through 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then what about 6?
Those are on the attachment. I don't see a 6 either.
We actually have the 6 and 7.
We just got around to
6 was an earlier amendment to the agenda.
Well, we're going to circle back to the supplemental, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
I only have a 7. I don't have a 6. on
I
mine.
don't either. Okay. All right, we're going to deal with the personnel items right now. We have P1, 2, and 3 has been presented.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion on P1, 2, and 3? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
So maybe it's one of these.
Let us move back because we do have a revision that came out as a G6 approval of an agreement between the Montoursville Area School District and CXTEC.
Move to approve.
Second.
Who all had G6?
Fred, I'm wrong.
Was that a,
Diana sent that out probably later.
okay, all right, that was a electronic, so that didn't come in our mailed packet.
I didn't get it in my mail packet.
Okay, so the approval of, for the agreement with who is that again?
CXTEC
Okay,
Actually,
That's D5.
what was added
was G1.
was G1, was added to the new agenda, which was discussion of revision of policy 903.
Right.
So I take your intent, when you did G1 through
5.
5, was to really do G2 through 5, and then you came back to do G1. But I think to clarify everything, it would be wise to have a motion that just says, we seek to approve G1A, G1B, G2 through G6, so that the record is clear that that was what the board acted on tonight.
now, my agenda has the G1 as the blast budget.
That's what I
Right.
have.
Right, but the revised agenda that I was looking at had G1 as discussion of policy 903, without the G1 and
Remember, you
G1B,
asked her
so-
to change that,
Yeah.
so she changed it, it
Will that
looks
make
like,
sense
and
to you,
added it.
Brandy?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yes. So we did have a motion and we did have a second, do we just need to have?
I would have somebody make a motion to clarify the agenda as I just described, and then second that.
Well, Fred, we have, the majority, I think all but one have G1 as the blast
Yes.
budget. Now,
I have it the other way though. I have G1 as discussion, that's why I thought we were putting G1A and
So we
We
did,
don't
we
have
just made a
G6.
motion on G6 that Ron made the motion and Jen seconded the motion on CX Tech.
CX text is D5 on our agenda.
It is,
Okay,
because
all right.
one was,
Let
one,
me,
go ahead.
let me try to make it, because 8 of us have one agenda that's identical, and
Correct.
Ron has a later version. So, we'll leave G1A and G1B as we voted. Brandy, so that's the 2 policy changes. Now, G1 through 5, the difference, Ron, with what you have and what we have is G1 is our blast budget.
That,
You have that
that
as G2.
supplemental agenda was put out at 11:14 yesterday.
The supplemental, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
As a
now that's a
supplemental, but
supplement.
that's not this agenda. So can we, I understand, but the supplemental was to be a supplemental, just these. So I will check to see what went on. So we're voting on
Well,
G6.
there was actually there was a revised, and that was put out on Friday.
And,
I'll tell you which one it is.
And that was my,
and everybody has in their packet,
These
it's
come out
not
on
the revised
Thursday.
one, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Right.
and that's what we're dealing with here. Dale, could you slide your agenda over to Ron to show him what G1 was on the 8 out of 9? And Ron actually has,
Well, I knew what it was, because I
Okay.
threw it away when I copied out the revised one.
okay,
And I think, I'm looking here,
Can we just vote so we can move on?
I think
Yeah,
the
well, we-
one that I have, that's revised, I think was put out last Friday.
but Ron actually was not voting on what 8 of us were. And he actually has the right one.
He does have the right one.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's easier to have, I mean, flip side is 8 of us didn't vote on what he voted on.
We did through G1A and
Yeah, Dale
1B.
has the same one I have.
We did.
too.
We did vote on G1A and 1B already, so that was G1 and his, not ours. We've voted on through 6, they have not. Those 2.
Okay, so what do we have left?
We just have the CXTC.
Okay. Okay, the G1A and B really is G1, was G1. And we've identified them as G1A and G1B.
Right.
We need to vote on, well, I'll read it. Approval of an agreement between MASD and CXTEC.
And Ron made the motion and Jen seconded.
Okay,
Yes.
so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay.
And opposed? Okay.
what was
Did
the
they-
original D1?
Revision of policy 903.
Oh, that was the 9, that was,
Yeah, revision of policy 903.
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Now, we did have a motion on the P1, 2, and 3 made by Jen, seconded by Dottie.
okay. Well, actually, we should have
Finish that one first?
finished that one first.
Yes,
Oh,
but
whatever.
say levy.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, we have P1 through 3. We have a motion and a second.
Jen and Dottie.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Under Transportation, T1, approval of Promised Land busing rates in the amount of $2,616.54 and $2,418.13 for February 2021.
Is there a second?
Yes, Scott.
Okay. Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Under Academics, A1, approval for a waiver of tuition to be granted to student 200910 grade 12 for the remainder of the 2021 school year.
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions? Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
May I please move to the supplemental as discussion under BF1 should come after we make the motions on the supplemental. May I please have a motion under G7, approval of an agreement between Montoursville Area School District and Southwood Psychiatric Hospital.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Under personnel, may I please have consent for P4 and P5?
All right. P4 and 5 together? Okay.
Second.
Oh, by consent, we can combine them, so. All right, do we have a motion then on P4 and 5?
Yes, Scott made the motion,
Scott?
Dottie seconded.
All right, Dottie, second, all right. I thought that was a motion to combine, but okay, all right. Okay. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Under Budget and Finance, BF1, discussion on Plan Con A for Loyal Sauk Valley Elementary School, expiration as of July the 1st, 2021. And this I asked the board to have on the agenda. We have received notification from the state. I sent this to the board on February the 22nd, that the Valley's Plan Con project, which is in Plan Con Phase 1, is still on hold, and if it is not awarded, as contracts are not awarded by July the 1st, then per Act 44 of 2014, it becomes uneligible to be granted.
Was there any avenue or route for them to extend it?
None.
None.
We have been given 7 years. From 2014, when it was filed, until July the 1st of 2021.
I mean, kind of
We can apply for Plan Con again if we decide to do a further project. right?
Yes.
And if my memory serves me correct from the discussion, it's been a whole year, I think, or whenever, that might possibly be more money or better.
Yes. But it could be a situation where the state pulls money out of the Plan Con process to fulfill other obligations within their budget, and therefore we may not see money at the very beginning of such a project should the district determine that that's the avenue they wish to go down.
It just seems the current Plan Con is just going to die in the vine. I don't know any way around it.
Yeah.
So,
Two things I want to bring up. Number one, I've said from the beginning, this district can't afford to take on additional debt. We need to do things for the valley as we can afford them. We have money in the capital reserve fund. And now, if this new bill passes, there is money in there that can be used for improving air quality in schools, which means we could use money that we get through that for HVAC at both the valley and later, along with using money that we have in capital reserve. I've been against borrowing more money for a long time, and everybody knows that. And I think that we all, especially now, need to watch where we're spending our money. And one place that we don't need to be spending more money is for a new bond where we're another bond and more interest. We need to do it responsibly.
Ron, what bill are you talking about?
Esther's 3.
Oh, after, okay.
Okay, any other discussion or input on, okay. I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's an item for discussion, action's not required. It's going to go away on its own.
In the first place, we don't have enough time before July to even
No.
put out contracts, approved contracts. So the discussion kind of null and void because that's fact.
Yep.
Do I then have permission to let Mr. Jim Vogel know that we will not be moving forward with the 2014 Plan Con for the Loyalsock Valley Elementary School?
Or we wait for him to tell him he's pulling the rug out from under us, one or the other.
He's asked for a response.
He's asked for a response. All
Yes.
right. Board, okay with the superintendent to reply to the PD architect? Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have time to go anywhere with the project, so, okay.
Thank you. That concludes that.
So the agenda items are done. Okay. Moving on then to other reports. Madam Vice President, would you walk us through them?
Okay, I actually do have a report from PSBA. I met with Otto Allman via Zoom meeting yesterday. I will be bringing a request to the next meeting to discuss either a resolution to adopt the principles for governance, leadership, or adopt it as a policy. If you do it as a resolution, you have to do that every year. We did it a few years ago. We were supposed to get a nice poster, which I don't know what happened to it, but it lists the board's responsibilities for governance and leadership, which is great for the public to be able to see what our responsibilities really are, what we can and what we can't do. So I'll bring that, since it's late notice, I'll bring that to the next board meeting. I'll send all the board members the item to look at for us to decide if we want to adopt it as a resolution, and then I can fill out the form and hopefully get the poster this time. She also talked about PSBA services. They have virtual and on-site training. There's a board self-assessment that I thought was interesting, that we would all complete an online survey, and then Autumn would review it with us to talk about how we can better function as a board. I thought that would be very interesting if people would be interested in following up with that. It doesn't cost us anything to do, just a survey. There's also a site, PSBA Success Starts Here, that lists educational submissions for educational excellence for all the different school districts, and they don't have anything for Montoursville, so they would like some submissions, and she actually suggested maybe some of our high school students could submit something, or the principals could submit something for them to post on their website. Advocacy Day is Monday, March 22nd. I'm not able to attend that because of work commitments, but if anybody would like to, it is a virtual day, and you just register on mypsba.org, and they'll set up meetings with elected officials and give you talking points to talk to them about. And then finally, there's virtual sectional meetings that are going to be held at the end of the month in the evening from 6:30 to 8, March 30th, March 31st, and April 1st. One's on social and emotional leadership. The other is perspectives on public education with Governor Wolf speaking. And April 1st is digital citizen and leadership. And you can register for those online as well. And that's my report. Anybody have any questions on PSBA?
Mr. Schill, I just want to bring up, we skipped over other reports from our principals.
Yes, we did. You're right. Do we have anything tonight?
I don't know. Do you
Well,
want to finish these?
we will prime them and circle back around after we do the committee reports and see what they'd like to offer for the good of the meeting. So, all right.
Okay, policy committee, do you have anything else, Dr. Beard? Thank you for your work. Are you, Mr. Ruffin?
Fellow board members, you received this in the back of your packet, gray colored ballot slip. We haven't done this before. As you know, I've been the rep for IU 17 for the last 7 years. If you would like for me to continue on in that capacity, all you need to do is sign it, put the school district, the school district under that, and that will simply be your approval to confirm the appointment as it was given to me at the beginning of the year by the board president. So if you would like me to continue on and you want to sign that and give it to me at the conclusion of the meeting, I thank you.
Thank you. LCTC, Mr. Schimmel.
Well, the COVID has created a little bit of a problem with what they call the NOCTI exams for the students at the VOTEC, at the CTC, still back in the 70s calling it the VOTEC. The NOCTI exams are actually hands-on, face-to-face with industry, trade, and trade representatives, and because of COVID, many of the industry and trade just simply aren't able to participate with those kind of hands-on, face-to-face tests. So the leaders of the CTCs all around the state are working on ways to, have a replacement exam, if you will, of some type for those students, because it's an important exam for the students. So it's been a challenge for them. Other than that, it's kind of routine business.
Okay. It's been tough all around, for sure. Memorial Gardens?
No report.
No report. Budget, Mr. Almer?
Just a reminder, in 2 weeks, we'll hear expenditure report with an idea of what's happening this year, but also ready to give us some projections into the 21-22 budget. Exciting time.
Okay. And Mr. Albert's not here for building and grounds. Mr. Almer, Montoursville Foundation?
Nothing to report. Again, I was happy for the little float that Mr. Callahan gave us. And I'll have to admit, I think the foundation really didn't think about folks that aren't connected to the internet. So for inquiries like this, he does need to channel through the school district or to contact one of the foundation members. But we'll be able to mail him the packet through the nomination and also explaining the process. And I'll see that is taken care of.
Awesome. And extracurricular, Mr. Conkle?
The girls may play off lots of work, but I don't do the boys this year. They out now. They're good. And doing the fire. You know, any boys play, they play tonight.
They play
tonight. They lost 76. You said they lost. Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, that's it, Mr. Schimmel.
Okay, let's circle back around to the administration and
Unless you want to do the second public comment and then do that, so you have enough time.
we'll extend, Christina. We'll extend. Dr. Breon.
So good evening. So Mrs. Snell already stole some of my thunder, obviously, with the snowman. So if you haven't had a chance to make a trip down the valley and see our snowman, please take the time to do that. As again, they'll fall soon, I'm sure. Just to follow up with our PBIS, our School-Wide Positive Behavior Support Initiative, we went back to the first trimester and counted of the number of students who earned 100 points recognition. I'm proud to say that we had over 148 students who have earned the Central 100 Club with the first trimester. So with that, they have a gold star in the hallway. I had to order 550 more gold stars, just anticipation of what we're going to have for the second and third trimester this year. So, kudos to our students and how well they responded to that program. I want to recognize our Title I staff for doing an excellent job with our reading But also, again, you know, knowing the many benefits of those random acts of kindness to our society in general. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the community for supporting our recent PTO fundraiser. The students sold Mr. Sticky coupons, and we sold well over 6,000 Mr. Sticky coupons.
Wow.
So thank you to everybody who participated in that and supported us with that. And I hope you enjoy the stickies.
Mr. King?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that, I don't know if you saw in the paper, we had 3 wrestlers going on the state competition this weekend. We had 2 regional, super regional champions, one regional and third. And one of those students is going into the naval academy. So, really impressive. And he's going to wrestle 2 wrestlers.
Thank you.
So,
Mr. Myers?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to point out our pride letters that we just added this year, some grant funding. Behind you, those of you that have been to our building for quite some time, please take a look on the way out in the vestibule, our pride acronym and what it stands for. We're doing a lot of work, as Dr. Breon is doing at the elementary level, with positive behavior support. So we are going to continue to look for community support with that as we push forward with that. So I did want to point out, fresh off the press, yesterday we had our virtual science fair, and the following winners for display, we had 3rd place was Hannah Means, 2nd place Alice Raver and Elizabeth Warner, and 1st place was Ellie Nolan and Lila Phillips. So congratulations to those students. And for investigation, Savannah Farley and Lindsay Garber was 3rd place. 2nd place, Farley McKenna and Sienna Quick. And in 1st place, Henry Leland. I don't know if Pastor Leland is still here or not, but congratulations to those students. Again, I want to thank Mr. Jury for his participation in setting up this fine science fair. Although it was virtual this year, we have a lot of great projects, and the see you hopefully next year will be in person. Thank you very much.
Way over there, Mr. Tormina.
I don't have anything to do.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right.
Second public comment.
Okay, we have added a second public comment period, and that is now, and don't worry about it being 8:45. Okay, there's none others in the public that wish to speak, then we're about 3 minutes from 9 o'clock, and I think entertain a motion to adjourn, if that's your wish. We have a second?
Scott?
Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.